Have you ever gone to an event or gone to work or something like that and you haven't gotten much sleep? So you tell your guy, hey man, I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep last night, just 6 hours. He's like, oh yeah, I only got 3 hours of sleep. What are we doing here? Are we playing a game? Or is this a contest? Because if it's a contest, like, you're free to win this. Here's your medal. Because I have no interest in being number one when it comes to lack of sleep. There are some weird people who brag about how little sleep they get, and I can't understand why. It's like you mention you're tired, and they're like, oh, yeah, how much sleep did you get? I bet I got less. I bet I'm more tired. Like, why? What is this? Sleep deprivation, by the way, is consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep. Now, I would guess most people listening to this are thinking 7 hours, that's normal. That's a lot for me, actually. You're being the same person, by the way. You're bragging about how little sleep you get because there's some genetic difference in sleep necessity. Some people need a bit more than 8. Some people need a bit less than 8. For myself personally, I feel like 8.5 is what I really need to be well rested. Some people need a bit less than 8. But let's be real. It's not like a genetic thing that's causing you to sleep less than 7 hours. You're just shit with your time. Or you're too busy, doing other shit that's not important at night. Now, if you're a parent, disregard everything because you have children who are massive disruptions to your life. So I cannot, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. You got to deal with that. Sleep is massively important. And if you don't get enough of it, your body probably won't have enough time to go through all the necessary stages with enough time to make them effective. You have a couple stages of sleep. You have light sleep, which is basically chilling out and getting ready for the other ones that actually do some work. You have deep sleep, which is essentially the recovery. You get into deep sleep and your body recovers from fatigue, the immune system gets boosted. You're healing. And that's really important because being awake is a lot. So deep sleep is pretty good. Then you have REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement. This one is resting like the others, but it has to do with your memory and your cognition. If you learned a lot throughout the day, when you get into REM sleep, I'm like simplifying the shit out of this. I'm not a scientist. It's basically taking that knowledge you learned throughout the day and imprinting it into your brain a bit better. It's working your memory. So if you're studying and you do not get any sleep, you're not going to remember a lot of that stuff. It's not going to stick in your brain as well as it could. So you need all of those things. Again, light sleep is just getting you into the mood for the other stuff. But you need deep sleep to recover. You need REM sleep to have your brain work properly. Now, I noticed a lot of this in college. I was an English major, which means that I and many of my classmates had to write a shit ton of essays. Now, I personally would try to time out the essay, plan it out so that I would write a page a day leading up to it. My classmates, on the other hand, oftentimes would just get Adderall. Then the night before, they would write everything. And they're saying, oh yeah, I was up till 4 a.m. writing this. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's horrible. And given that they didn't sleep, I don't know if they retained most of what they actually wrote. Oftentimes they didn't. The smarter kids were the ones that were outlining, planning, doing it bit by bit. The ones who did it the night before, they did it. They might get decent grades, but I don't think any of that knowledge or information stuck in their brain because they didn't fucking sleep. And nowadays, people just do that in general. I'll just stay up forever, whatever. Now, here's something interesting. Apparently, the average American sleeps for about 6.8 hours per night, under 7. Now, this is different from in the 1940s, was that 80 years ago, where Americans slept 7.9 hours on average. So that's an hour less in 80 years. That's interesting. I wonder what changed in 80 years. A lot, obviously. So one of the biggest things that causes sleep deprivation is, you guessed it, being on your fucking phone in bed and then when you wake up. Because I bet there are a lot of you who wake up in the middle of the night, whether they had to pee or they just woke up and they're like, I'll check my phone. That's fucking stupid. I say that with a phone specifically because that blue light, when you're in the middle of trying to sleep, when you're in bed, it's tricking your brain. Your brain's, oh, is it daytime? I see a very interesting light there. It's very bright and seeping into the eyes. Is it daytime? Maybe I'll be more awake. You're really hurting yourself when you do that. And even worse, before that, when you're getting into bed, take your phone in there and just start whatever, doing something that's not fucking important probably. And not only, again, the light, but you're also stimulated as hell. You're looking at this, you're looking at this, you're looking at this. Well, it's cool, it's funny. Your brain it needs to chill. Remember how I mentioned light sleep leads into deep sleep and REM sleep, right? You chilling in bed has to lead into light sleep first. So if you're not even doing that, then the other stages of sleep are just going to get fucked. So I think having a phone in bed is probably the worst possible thing you can do for your sleep. Honestly, you shouldn't even keep it in your room. If you need an alarm, get one of those ones you plug in if you really need it. But I would recommend getting a watch or a fitness tracker. They usually have vibrational alarms, and those are awesome because if you sleep with someone, you can wake yourself up and not them. So win. And you also don't have to set a song as the alarm, which you will eventually hate because you're going to hear it every morning. Other factors for sleep deprivation would be the work culture, which also doubles into the sleep contest thing. People are like, oh man, I stayed up all night doing this work thing. That's cool, bro. If you want to lack sleep and work the most, you can have 2 medals. But I won't enter that contest. Thank you. Another factor would be stress and anxiety, which a lot of people have because everyone's fucking broke and we're going to enter World War III soon. Most people affected by this are, like I said, students, but that's their own fault. They're figuring out what'll work, what will not. People that are also affected would be night shift workers. When I was a personal trainer at a YMCA, specifically, I had a weird schedule where I would be walking home at like nighttime, and yeah, I would tailor my sleep schedule around that. So when you have to fit in your work schedule with your social schedule and life schedule, it can get weird and sleep can be bad. Doctors, healthcare employees, and tech workers may have to deal with this too, because those workers, they have a possibility of being on call, which means you're working when you're not working. There's an emergency happening. Guess what? 2 a.m. Fuck you. Wake up and fix it, please. Thankfully, it hasn't happened to me in the tech world, but I know doctors are on call, and some of them, and they have to deal with shit even when they're off. And I guarantee that affects their sleep too. And those people who work at, what is it, McDonald's that's open 24/7? If your shift is 1 a.m. to 8, your sleep's probably fucked. It's not going to be great, honestly. Sometimes these things can't be helped. When you can help it, you should try to not be one of these people. It's not really sustainable. Now, here's some stats. Apparently, 1 in 3 adults do not get enough sleep. I believe this. Everyone's so eager to tell you how much sleep they didn't get. So, yeah, that makes sense. Drowsy driving apparently causes 100,000 crashes annually. I wonder if that is true. By the way, again, I pull up these stats and I take them with a grain of salt. This show is just for entertainment purposes, so don't take everything so literally here. Who knows how true these are? I would guess the drowsy driving is partially due to people being on their phones, being stupid, not paying attention to red lights, being assholes, causing each other to crash, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Drowsy? How do you even test that? You crash and someone says, oh yeah, I was tired. Now they're probably going to blame the other person. So I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know how the hell this works out, but apparently sleep deprivation costs the U.S. economy $11 billion annually. I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to move on. Apparently, people who sleep less than 6 hours are 30% more likely to become obese. And this is probably almost definitely due to them eating in the middle of the night. And I know because I was one of these people when I was obese. It's 12, it's midnight, it's 1 a.m., and you're still up. You're probably hungry because for normal people, the last time you ate was probably 5, 6, 7, 8. And you stay up several hours past that point, you're going to get hungry again. So if you don't sleep, you're more likely to get hungry and eat. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, I touched on this already, but apparently it's 70% of college students that don't get adequate sleep. Yep, I know that one's true. This is interesting. Sleep deprivation increases the risk of depression by 300%. I don't know how that works. Maybe by not sleeping, you have more time to think about bad things. I would guess that's the reason why, but I'm not exactly sure why. And it's probably that. You're thinking way too much. And as well, your brain is just not chilling out and recovering. It's like when you leave a computer on for too long. Just there are a lot of these processes that keep on going and going. They shouldn't really be going. They got to stop at some point and restart. The same thing happens to your brain. It's just things are just going to end up a little weird and bad over time. So I understand that. So how the fuck do you sleep better? I got some tips for you. Deprive your senses. As in your sight, get blackout curtains, make your room dark, get a sleep mask, whatever it is. Make it dark. Hearing, I don't know if you live in an apartment, a house with noisy neighbors, dogs barking outside, something, I don't know. Consider earplugs, consider a fan, very loud fan near your head. Consider a white noise speaker. Consider using, if you have to, maybe your phone as a white noise speaker. I would recommend getting a standalone device just so you don't have your phone near you. I recommend not having your alarm clock visible or any clocks visible at night, because if you happen to see them, oops, now I'm calculating. I have 5 hours and 34 minutes until I gotta wake up, and then you're stressed. So don't have clocks visible. For your sense of touch, make yourself comfortable. Get the temperature right if you have central air. If not, get a fan, get a whatever you need. But don't eat in bed. If we're talking the sense of taste, sense of smell, I don't know. Take a shower before, whatever helps. And I recommend getting a routine. Now, the recommendation is 8 hours of sleep, right? However, there are very few people who get into bed and fall asleep within 1 minute. Most people have to ease into it. Myself, based on stats on my trackers and whatnot, I need about, 40 to 50 minutes of just chill out time before I can drift off to sleep. I bring a Kindle to bed, and that's pretty good because the one I have has not only a dark mode, but the little light it has on there is not even a backlight, so it's not pointing directly at me. The light comes in a bit from the side, and it's orange. So that has a very minimal effect on keeping me up at all. If you're reading on a phone or tablet or something, that blue light is going to be overpowering. So an e-ink reader would be cool. If you're one of those book sniffers who loves physical books because the way they smell, you can have a little book light, physical book in your bed. That'd be helpful. Just create a routine before you need to get into bed to ease yourself into it. And then once all these things are in place, you'll slide into sleep much more easily. Now, some people might think, why do you need all this shit to go to sleep? You don't necessarily. It's just in modern day, you have to protect yourself from these random noises, random distractions. You have to be preemptive. You have to be preemptive in your sleep. You have to take it into your own hands because no one else is going to make sure you get the sleep you need. You're not 8 years old anymore, so you got to do that yourself. Another recommendation I would give is to, if you can, some people who live in studio apartments can't really do this, but try. Don't use your bed for anything other than sleep or the other thing with your partner. I'm talking about sex. Because if you use your bed as a couch, as I used to do many years ago, you will associate bed with, oh yeah, I'm watching TV and chilling out. That's not what you want. You want your bed to elicit particular expectations in you when you get into it. Not, I'm going to get in my bed and I can either play video games, watch TV, go to sleep, work on my computer. Try to have your bed not be associated with all the other shit that doesn't involve sleep. I made this a rule. Once the last time I moved, I made this a rule. My bed, I don't get in there unless I'm going to sleep or the other stuff. If I'm going to watch TV or do anything else, I'm going to get in a chair, anything else, stand up, whatever. And I take this pretty seriously. If I get in the morning, I get a call that wakes me up or something, I'll take the phone and I'll stand up and then I will answer the phone. I don't grab the phone then while I'm still in bed and get back into bed because I don't bring my phone to bed. Because once you make that association of the bed being related to something else, it's going to be much harder for you to fall more easily into sleep. Another thing I recommend is stop with the caffeine so fucking much. Not only is it a crutch for you not getting much sleep, but if you drink it too close to the evening, it's going to fuck up your sleep. Because most people don't know this, but caffeine doesn't really get rid of your sleep. It doesn't get rid of your sleepiness. What it does is it hides it for, I don't know, depends how much you have, but 6 hours. And then once the effect wears off, all that sleepiness you built up comes back. Your body's, oh, hey, I remember this. Now, I'm sure there's a way to strategically use this to fall asleep more easily, but it's not worth it. Just get off the caffeine. Just go to sleep. Just drink water or some shit. Oh, another thing. Don't drink water right before bed because you're going to have to wake up to pee. Maybe that's only for people over 30. I don't know. I can't drink water like within 2 hours of bedtime because that's going to fuck me up. I'm going to wake up and have to pee very badly. All this to say, sleep is not that complicated. It's not that tough. It's that a lot of people try to make it so by adding in all these distractions that prevent you from getting good sleep. Just chill out, get ready, ease in, fall asleep. Try to be consistent about it as best you can. For me personally, I wake up at a certain hour about 5 days out of the week. The weekend's a little different, not too different, but try to be somewhat consistent. If you're sleeping at 10 p.m. one night and then 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. the next day, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to adjust, honestly. And this piece of advice is very up to the individual. I would say don't take naps if possible. Some people swear by naps, but for me, if I take a nap, that night's sleep is going to be fucked. Because you take a nap, it's not good enough. You're going to have to take a 3-hour sleep in the middle of the day. And then when you go to sleep, you can't just sleep 8 hours. You slept 3 recently, right? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Just creates a lot of extra consideration that I don't want to deal with. Some people, naps are amazing. I don't know. Test it out. But yeah, basically, leave your phone out of your fucking bed and you should be Gucci. Leave a comment or send me an email about how much sleep you get. If you want to brag about you getting 2 hours of sleep, let me know. I'll call you dumb. If you're one of those people who gets, I knew a guy who I still know him. He gets like 12 hours of sleep per day. I'm like, oh, that explains a lot. Anyway, let me know how much you get. Either way, see you next time.